Michael. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. Thank you. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Mike. I'm with Archway. I've been in the space for a few years now. I started out in the Ethereum ecosystem working on some of the early scaling solutions, the early L2s, was doing some cross-chain apps and experiments.
Cool.
A few years back, made the leap to the Cosmos ecosystem to incubate Archway and have been building since.
Wow. Great. Where are you based?
I'm based in the States on the East Coast.
Nice. And what brings you to Seoul this time?
In Seoul for KBW, Korea Blockchain Week.
Yeah.
So it's been a jam-packed week, getting to connect with
So
lots
many events
of
going on.
so many events, nonstop. But it's been great meeting partners, builders, investors, and just overall awesome opportunity to connect with the community.
Great. Okay. So, yeah, I'm kind of wondering that what was the first coin that you bought? When and why did you buy it? Can you remember?
For me, it was Ethereum.
Ethereum. Classic.
Yeah. It was for years. My buddy had been telling me about Bitcoin, but he was using it for Silk Road and these funky things. So I always just kind of brushed it off and thought it was a bit suspect. But 2017, I kind of got hip to Ethereum and the ideas of just more of the developer platform side of things and the ability to build these open distributed applications, and a lot of those ideas and possibilities just kind of took hold for me, and so I scooped up some ETH and no looking back.
Awesome. So what was the motivation behind the creation of Archway, and what problem is Archway trying to solve?
So Archway, it's a layer 1 protocol, and it's designed all around value capture for developers. And so the broad idea is developers are creating a ton of value for underlying L1s. So you think about a network like Ethereum. If you build a successful app on Ethereum, you're bringing users, transactions, assets to the chain. That creates a ton of value for ETH, the underlying asset. But you as a developer don't capture any of that, which is crazy. And so with Archway, we designed this unique new model where the protocol distributes revenues directly back to developers. And so on Archway, you build an app, it starts getting usage, and you as a developer get a proportional share of the protocol revenues for each and every instance that someone's interacting with your contracts. And so that was always kind of the underlying idea is make sure developers can get their fair share of the pie and kind of help them figure out sustainable economics and actual business models.
Cool. Awesome. So, what makes Archway so special? I'm kind of wondering that, like, why should builders start building on Archway instead of like other L1 chains out there?
So what's really special and sets Archway apart, I think, is the economic and incentive design of the network. To be honest, I think people are sleeping on the developer rewards and revenues and don't really have a full appreciation for just how material they can be and they will be for developers. We've also put a ton into the overall economic design and the tokenomic design for the protocol, orienting it all around long-term sustainable growth, properly incentivizing all the participants and stakeholders in the protocol, and value capture, which isn't entirely the norm within the Cosmos ecosystem. And so we've just put a lot of love into that. There's a really rich and growing application and developer community. And then I would say, the core contributing teams are just, again, long-term committed. They're going to be there for years and years. You see a lot of these projects just kind of emerge out of nowhere and
Right.
flame out in no time. But core teams are long-term committed, well-resourced, and deeply aligned in the community. So
Wow, cool. So I'm kind of wondering who are Archway network for, and is there any like target dapps or target users that Archway is focusing on right now?
yeah, so we're really just looking for sincere builders, folks that are
Right.
long-term committed and trying to build something that's actually fresh and novel, as opposed to just replicating the same old thing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a common thread of what we're doing, and just builders and developers that are generally aligned around our mindset of kind of organic, sustained growth, rather than empty hype and Ponzinomics. So yeah, we're kind of long-term oriented, long-term focused, and
Awesome.
looking for builders aligned
Yeah.
on that front.
So Archway is a developer-focused blockchain. So I'm wondering what are some resources for the builders uh, who are thinking of building on Archway, and what kind of support can they get?
Yeah, so we're doing a ton around tooling and docs, of which there aren't a lot of great docs and documentation for Cosmosm builders at the moment, and so we've put a lot of love and time and energy into that. We're also trying to do a lot around educational tools. We built and launched a product called Area 52 that is kind of like a fun, interactive game that
Right.
teaches developers Cosmosm how to actually build their own contracts and ultimately their own application on chain. And then we've just launched the Archway grants program. So in the first cohort, we funded and supported 14 projects. The
14.
second cohort is coming up now. And then I would say just, kind of like the active community channels, the Discord, we've got a Telegram builders chat that I would encourage folks to dive into, just to connect with other builders in the community and folks across the core teams and core contributors.
Cool. So what is Archway focusing on right now? I'm wondering, is there any like plan for a major update in the next few months?
Yeah, so since we've launched mainnet a couple months back, the ecosystem has shifted their focus towards shipping and implementing the next version of the economic model.
Right.
And so we have currently implemented a fee burn mechanism similar to EIP 1559. And so that will be really powerful because it will reduce net issuance of the token and just provide a little bit more value capture for Arch. And then after that, the engineering side is shifting their focus towards implementing a dynamic fee market and a dynamic minimum consensus fee, which will be really impactful because it's going to increase the amount of rewards and revenues that are going back to developers. And it's also going to boost the resilience of that revenue sharing model against potential spam attacks.
Yeah, very excited.
And then, we're starting to do a lot around on-chain quests and incentives. And so we have a product called Bonus Block that launched right around mainnet, and they're rewarding users that are going on these on-chain missions and interacting with all the dapps throughout the ecosystem.
Wow, very cool. I'm very excited. So I think I want to talk about the token side. So you guys have a native token, Arch token, ARCH. So what can we do with Arch token?
The core use cases of the token are native staking.
Right.
So you can stake it on the network to provide security for the protocol. You can use it in governance, so either for submitting on-chain proposals or
Right.
participating in a voting capacity.
Mm-hmm.
It's used for rewards, so whether that's staking rewards or payouts to developers within the context of
Right.
the revenue sharing model. And then it's a fee token, so it's used for transactions. And so today you can use it across all of the applications in the ecosystem. You could seed liquidity on Astrovault, our flagship DEX.
Mm-hmm.
You could use it to mint NFTs on Architect, one of the marketplaces. You could use it to mint your own domain and ID
Right.
on Archway, and lots of other cool apps as well.
Awesome. So, for those who want to learn more about Archway, how can they get started as a beginner? And because we are all in Korea, is there anything you want to say to potential like Korean builders or users in Korea?
For getting started, I would just pop over to the website, archway.io, and from there, that's got all the goodies, all the resources.
Right.
You'll be able to find and follow us on Twitter, be able to find all the developer docs, be able to find our Discord channels. And as far as the Korean community, I think, especially having just gone through KBW here, it's been, I think we just have a lot of respect for the talent and the passion of the local community here. Mm-hmm. We've always had a really strong core group of Korean-based partners, with folks such as yourselves, Cosmostation, and many other validators and investors. And I think we're just constantly surprised every time we're back around the vibrancy of the ecosystem and the fact that there's still so much excitement and room for growth. So just looking forward to growing out our local community here. And for folks that are interested, hit us up and jump into the channels. We'll chat with you there.
Very cool.